They told you to chase success, to run after it like a predator in the wild, desperate and starving, to sprint headfirst into the chaos of ambition, hoping to capture some distant glory before it slips through your fingers, but they were wrong. Success was never meant to be hunted. It was meant to arrive, unannounced, drawn to the power you've become, drawn to the clarity of your presence, the strength of your mind, the heat of your desire. Success doesn't respond to noise, it responds to signal. And your life, your entire life, is the signal you send out. The world doesn't reward those who beg. It doesn't bend to those who chase. It recognizes those who become. Become what? Become the kind of person who cannot be ignored, the kind who walks into a room and doesn't need to speak to command it, the kind whose name is whispered long before they arrive. Not because they shouted the loudest, but because they moved with such purpose, such unshakable certainty, that reality had no choice but to rearrange itself around them. That's the difference. The ones who chase are always outside the gate. The ones who become are already inside it. Henry Ford didn't chase success. He became efficiency, became innovation, became vision. Thomas Edison didn't beg the world for recognition. He became persistence, failure after failure, until the light itself bowed to his will. Oprah didn't chase fame. She became so deeply connected to truth that the world came to listen. The game is not outside you. It's never been outside you. It's always been you. That thought, that truth, it should rattle your bones. Because it means you are not waiting for a moment. You are not praying for a miracle. You are not hoping for someone to open a door. You are the miracle. You are the door. And the moment is now. Clarity. You want the world to notice you, but do you even know who you are? The tragedy isn't that people don't chase their dreams. The tragedy is they don't even know them. They adopt borrowed dreams, recycled goals, societal checklists, and wonder why they feel empty when they reach them. You cannot magnetize success if your signal is static. You cannot attract destiny if you are drowning in indecision. Clarity isn't a luxury, it's oxygen. Ask yourself with no filter, no fear, no performance, who do I want to become? What do I value more than comfort, more than acceptance, more than applause? What do I refuse to die without doing? Because clarity is not a paragraph, it's not a vision board, it's a conviction, a frequency that pulses through every cell in your body, a knowing. A fierce, wordless knowing that you were meant to do this, not because the world told you to, but because your soul demands it. And once you have that, even vaguely, everything changes. You stop running. You start building, because the one who builds doesn't need to chase. Belief. Before anything, before talent, before money, before opportunity, there must be belief, but not just any belief. Radical, delusional, unreasonable belief. The kind that makes others uncomfortable. The kind that makes them roll their eyes, whisper behind your back, warn you to be realistic. The kind that isolates you not because you're arrogant, but because you see what they can't. Look at Walt Disney, a bankrupt dreamer drawing cartoons in a borrowed garage, laughed out of studios, betrayed by business partners, but he believed so obsessively, so completely, that he turned swampland into an empire of imagination. And what about Lincoln? A man born into a dirt floor cabin, failed in business, lost elections, suffered unimaginable grief, yet he believed, not in politics, but in purpose, in the idea that he was meant for something greater than the wounds he carried. The world will only believe in you to the extent that you believe in you. Your success is never louder than your self-talk. Your wealth is never greater than your worthiness. And your impact is never deeper than your inner alignment. So the question isn't, will the world give me a chance? The question is, will I give myself a chance? Discipline. You don't rise by passion alone. You rise by repetition. Everyone wants the breakthrough, the applause, the meteoric rise. But few are willing to show up when no one's watching, to do the unsexy work, to live in the shadows, sharpening their craft until the world must take notice. Discipline is love in action, not the soft kind of love, the hard, demanding, transformative kind, the love that says, I care about my future so much that I'm willing to suffer now. It's waking up before you want to. It's doing what you said long after the mood has left. It's training the mind when comfort screams louder than clarity. That's why you can't fake discipline. You can fake a post, you can fake a smile, but you cannot fake consistency. You either live this or you don't. Think of Kobe Bryant, 5 championships, an icon. But not because he was the most talented, because he outworked everyone in empty gyms at 4 a.m. While others were sleeping, he was becoming. Becoming what? The kind of person success has to chase. Vision. You're not just here to succeed, you're here to see. To see beyond your environment, beyond your limitations, beyond your past. Vision is the divine rebellion against the way things are. It's what drove the Wright brothers to defy gravity. What made Steve Jobs reimagine communication? What allowed Elon Musk to say, "What if we went to Mars?" You must dare to envision the world that doesn't yet exist. You must dare to imagine yourself as someone the world doesn't yet recognize. Because the world is blind until you show it what's possible. Vision turns ordinary into inevitable. It takes a nobody and transforms them into a necessity. It gives your days direction, your failures fuel, your pain purpose. But vision without action is fantasy. And fantasy doesn't feed you, doesn't build legacy, doesn't change anything. So you take that vision and you plant it in discipline. You water it with belief. You protect it with focus. And you let time do what time always does: reveal. Reveal who's real. Reveal who's ready. Reveal who you've become. Purpose. There will come a moment, maybe late at night, maybe after a heartbreak, maybe in the stillness between winds, when you'll ask yourself, why am I really doing this? And in that moment, the noise will fade. The applause won't matter. The numbers won't satisfy. The competition won't inspire. Only purpose will remain. Purpose isn't a slogan. It's not something you paste on a wall. It's the fire beneath every decision. It's what makes you relentless when logic tells you to quit. It's what fuels you when everyone else falls asleep at the wheel of life. You don't find purpose, you forge it. In the furnace of struggle, in the silence of rejection, in the whispers of your inner voice telling you there's something more in you. Don't waste it. When Martin Luther King Jr. marched through fear, through threats, through the weight of an entire system that wasn't strategy, that was purpose. When Malala stood in front of the world with a bullet wound and still spoke for every girl denied an education that wasn't performance, that was purpose. Purpose makes you magnetic, unstoppable, untouchable. Because once you've anchored yourself to why you must rise, the how becomes flexible, the when becomes irrelevant, and the what if no longer controls you. With purpose, you become inevitable. Action. You've read the books, listened to the speeches, watched the documentaries, but until you move, it means nothing. The universe doesn't respond to intention, it responds to action. Repeated, committed, fearless action. The most powerful vision will rot in the soul of a person who never acts on it. Dreams become nightmares when left in the hands of hesitation. Don't wait to be ready. Readiness is a myth. Don't wait to be confident. Confidence is built through motion. Don't wait for permission. You are the author now. When you act, you tell the world, I am serious. When you act again, you tell yourself, I am capable. When you act without stopping, you become a force. And forces aren't questioned, they're followed. Abraham Lincoln once said, things may come to those who wait, but only the things left by those who hustle. The laws haven't changed. Fortune still favors the bold. Life still rewards the initiator. So do the thing. Even if your voice shakes, even if your legs tremble, even if your hands aren't ready to hold the reward. Because action doesn't just build results, it builds you. Gratitude. In the chase for more, don't forget what you already hold. Gratitude is not weakness, it's not complacency. It's the secret power source of the most unstoppable people in history. Why? Because gratitude turns scarcity into strength. It breaks the illusion that you are lacking. It teaches you that abundance begins not when you have more, but when you see more. When Helen Keller lost her sight and hearing, the world expected silence. But through gratitude, she found voice. She said, I cried because I had no shoes until I met a man who had no feet. That's power. When you begin to see your struggle as shaping you, your pain as teaching you, your obstacles as training you, you stop resenting life and start receiving it. Gratitude sharpens your focus. It cuts through noise. It eliminates entitlement. It roots you in now the only place power can live. So pause, not forever, just long enough to remember how far you've already come. How many versions of you had to die for this one to exist? How many miracles you've normalized? You are not behind, you are becoming. And success, it notices those who honor the ground they stand on. Adaptability, the rigid break, the flexible survive. You can't control the wind, but you can adjust the sail. You can't script life's punches, but you can become the kind of person who doesn't flinch. Adaptability isn't about giving up. It's about evolving, quickly, intelligently, boldly. When the path changes, change with it. When the world shifts, lean in. When the plan burns to the ground, rebuild. Stronger, wiser, unapologetically different. Blockbuster fell because they refused to adapt. Netflix rose because it saw the wave coming. The ones who make history are the ones who bend without breaking, who listen without losing themselves, who shift with time but never away from truth. You are not meant to be a statue. You are meant to be a storm, always moving, always adjusting, always alive. And when you move like that, nothing can trap you. Resilience. Now we come to it, the test beneath all tests. Will you keep going? Not when it's easy, not when the music's playing and the crowd is cheering, but when it's quiet, when no one believes, when it feels like nothing is working. Because that's the moment, the one that separates the average from the extraordinary, the sprinter from the marathoner, the pretender from the legend. You will fall. Expect it, embrace it, you will doubt. Understand it, challenge it, you will break, and you must rebuild. Every success story is a resilient story in disguise. It's J.K. Rowling writing Harry Potter in cafes with rejection slips piling up. It's Nelson Mandela, imprisoned for 27 years, still believing in the dignity of peace. It's you, here, still breathing, still trying, still rising. Pain is the proof you're in the arena. The bruise is the badge that says, I fought today. And resilience is not about winning every round. It's about never leaving the ring. You get back up. Not because it's comfortable, but because something in you refuses to stay down. And that fire is exactly what success has been looking for. Learning. If resilience is the fire, then learning is the fuel. There is no glory in stubbornness, no power in repeating the same mistake. The strongest among us are not those who know everything, but those who are willing to unlearn everything, to start again, to stay a student long after the world calls them a master. Napoleon Hill wrote, "An educated man is not the man who has an abundance of general or specialized knowledge. An educated man is the one who has so developed the faculties of his mind that he may acquire anything he wants or its equivalent without violating the rights of others." Let that sink in. Learning isn't about degrees or diplomas. It's about direction. It's about humility. It's about having the courage to admit, I don't know everything, but I can learn anything. And in this world, where change moves faster than ever, learning is your survival, your evolution, your edge. Michael Jordan, in his prime, still practiced longer than his teammates. Why? Because he didn't just love winning, he loved growing. Beyoncé rehearses like a beginner. Elon Musk taught himself rocket science. Da Vinci filled notebook after notebook with questions, not answers. Are you willing to be that curious, that humble, that committed? The greats don't fear being the least informed in the room, they fear staying the same. So study your pain, study your failure, study the giants who walked before you and the giants who will rise beside you. Because when you learn, you evolve. And when you evolve, you become unstoppable. Identity. Let's be honest now. You can master strategy. You can wake up at 5 a.m., you can work harder than anyone you know. But if deep down you still see yourself as unworthy, you will reject the very success you crave. Not consciously, not dramatically, but subtly through procrastination, through sabotage, through settling for less than you deserve. Because you don't get what you want, you get what you believe you are. If your identity is the underdog, you'll find ways to stay behind. If your identity is not enough, you'll shrink in moments of greatness. But if your identity is leader, visionary, builder, creator, you'll rise. Automatically, instinctively, powerfully. It's time to rewrite your self-image, not with fake affirmations, but with aligned action. You want to feel like a winner? Start keeping promises to yourself. Want to feel unstoppable? Start doing hard things on purpose. Want to feel chosen? Start choosing yourself daily. Identity isn't fixed, it's forged. In fire, in resistance, in decision. So who are you? Don't answer with your past. Answer with your future. Don't list what you've done. Declare what you're becoming. Because the moment you say, I am no longer available for a small life, the world shifts. It doesn't argue. It doesn't hesitate. It aligns. Energy. Everything is energy. And people can feel yours before you speak a word. Are you walking into rooms heavy with desperation or alive with certainty? Are you exuding lack or radiating abundance? Your energy either repels or it attracts. It either drains or it ignites. That's why chasing success rarely works, because when you chase, you come from lack, from need, from not enough. But when you embody success, when you carry the calm power of a person who knows their value, when you walk like the outcome is already decided in your favor, everything changes. Think of Muhammad Ali. He declared, I am the greatest, long before he became champion. His energy led his results. He wasn't boasting, he was aligning, channeling, becoming. And you? You don't need to wait to feel successful. You can embody it now. Breathe like it, think like it, move like it. Because energy is not an effect, it's a choice. And the world follows the ones who lead with energy that cannot be ignored. Faith. Let's go deeper now. Past logic, past science, past all your plans. There is a force beyond reason, and its name is faith. Faith isn't religion. Faith is power. Raw, invisible, irrational power. The kind that lets you take the leap before the bridge appears. The kind that makes you keep building when nothing around you says it will work. The kind that whispers, keep going, when everything else screams, give up. Napoleon Hill said, faith is the head chemist of the mind. With it, your brain becomes alchemy, transmuting thought into reality, vision into form. Without it, you become a prisoner of circumstance, a puppet to the visible. But with it, you are limitless. You won't always see the way, but you must walk anyway. You won't always hear applause, but you must believe anyway. Because the seed never sees the tree, but it grows anyway. So you too must believe. Not because you've been guaranteed success, but because you've decided to become the kind of person who cannot fail, who may fall, but will not fail. And success, it notices that. Now listen, this is not about motivation, not about some fleeting high that dies when the video ends. This is about transformation, the kind that rearranges your very cells, the kind that demands you stare into the mirror and tell yourself, it ends here. It begins now. You don't need another quote on your wall. You don't need another strategy deck. You need to decide. Decide to stop chasing success like it's some elusive lover that doesn't want you. Success is not running from you. It's waiting for you to become ready, waiting for you to become the person it recognizes, the version of you who has already earned the arrival. Because here's the truth. They don't teach in school. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you are. You want success? Become discipline. You want love? Become presence. You want peace? Become integrity. You want greatness? Become worthy of the wait. Every giant you admire, they didn't find a secret path. They walked the same dirt you walk. They bled. They cried. They failed. And then they rose. Again and again, until the world had no choice but to call them legend. They became what they were chasing. And you? You are not behind. You are not broken. You are not late. You are becoming. Every early morning you rise in silence. Every rejection you survive. Every invisible win that no one claps for. It is all building something, someone the world cannot deny. So stop waiting for the door to open. Stop begging to be seen. Stop apologizing for your hunger. Build the door. Become the storm. Be the signal that success cannot resist. Because in the end, it was never about chasing success. It was about remembering who you were always meant to be and becoming the one success has been chasing all along.